Good morning. On behalf of the Council, our members, and the staff of the American Geographical Society, it's our pleasure to join the University of Missouri St. Louis and welcome all of you to Geography 2050 STL, Feeding Our Future Planet. It is great to be able to continue the Geography 2050 franchise here in the heartland of the United States, St. Louis. We believe in St. Louis. We believe in the geospatial expertise and leadership based in this great city, and we believe that St. Louis is well on its way to becoming the center of geospatial, not just for the heartland, but for the entire country, and that is why we are here. Like many things in life, it's all about timing, being in the right place at the right time. Today is all about that. I'll defer to our chairman and president to tell you the full story, but I do want you to know at the beginning that AGS, UMSL, and St. Louis were meant to work together, and again, St. Louis is destined to be the center of geospatial. We have a lot of ground to cover today, so let's not lose time. Ladies and gentlemen, the president and chairman of the American Geographical Society, Dr. Chris Tucker and Dr. Marie Price.
Everyone, thank you so much for coming. Give yourselves a round of applause for waking up and getting here this early in the morning. This is not your normal university timetable, so I appreciate everybody making it here, and thank you so much to the university team for making sure everything was in tip-top shape when we got here this morning. So this is a fantastic event for us. This is the inaugural Geography 2050 STL event. For those of you who are unaware, we've actually held Geography 2050 in New York City for the past 9 years, and the fall will be our 10th anniversary. We were very fortunate this year. Our theme was on the future of food. And one of our stalwart supporters, Mr. Brian Monheiser, the person with the best map tattoos in the room, who had come to Geography 2050 countless times, said, "You know, can I bring a guest?" I said, "Of course you can." And he decided to bring the Chancellor of the University of Missouri St. Louis. I mean, if you're going to bring a guest, I think that's the kind of guest you need to bring to New York City. And the Chancellor not only came to our chairman's dinner, but then the event. And I think it was upon her reflection saying, "Why don't we have one of these in St. Louis?" Which started a conversation that I know Brian had planted the seeds for all of this, but it started a conversation that led us to today. So we're very proud to be here in St. Louis, particularly kicking off with the theme of food. Where should you talk about food more than the agricultural heartland of America? So I think this is poetic. I always, at this stage of my life, I find that I'm searching for poetry in my life. So this is very poetic that this is our inaugural event on this particular theme, and that we have the good fortune as the American Geographical Society to partner with the University of Missouri St. Louis. So thank you so much for having us here today. Marie?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Marie Price here. So let me say that the American Geographical Society has been around since 1851, and with this long history of basically bringing geography to the world through engaging with government, business, academia, and civil society. And obviously an organization, we began drawing maps by hand on drafting tables, and we've gone a long way since then. But when Chris came up with the idea 10 years ago to have a convening that was thematic, forward-looking, and addressing key issues facing the future of our planet, not into the future, but not so far into the future. 2050 is getting closer and closer as we go along. We've begun this journey, and we have really prided ourselves in bringing people together from different sectors that share a common interest in geospatial, or thinking of the world spatially, but also a thematic interest. So we've looked at the questions of energy, we've looked at food, we've looked at sustainability. Next year we're going to look, or this fall we're going to look at hazards, risks, and finance through a geographic lens. And the beauty of this is bringing together people that don't normally get together and learn from each other. So I'm hoping by the end of this day, somebody's going to get up and speak and it will blow your mind. You're going to look at food and food systems and food production and its links to things like poverty or sustainability or health in ways that you never have before. And that's the value of this format and venue, and we thank you so much for being here. In addition to this gathering, we have other events planned. Tomorrow there's going to be a convening of teachers who are going to speak, work with staff and learn about different aspects of mapping and how do you bring that into the classroom, and so we're excited about that. We want to acknowledge some of our sponsors and partners, so you can, we have a slide for that. Thanks. So this is a barn raising. You've got to bring together a lot of people to pull off an event like this. And some of our key supporters are the Fund for the City of New York, who are our close partners, the Globe Building, where we had a fabulous dinner last night, Teach OSM and Youth Mappers. They're going to be part of the presentations today and the workshop tomorrow, and Geo 261. Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely, and thank you, Brian. Okay, everybody, can we just say this together? Thank you, Brian. Right
Thank you,
there.
Brian.
Yeah, I love that. That's excellent. And next slide, please. So on top of that, these things only happen because someone provides the resources to make it happen. So thank you so much to our sponsors, ESRI, Greater St. Louis Inc., Planet. Next slide. I believe we have a few more sponsors. The Danforth Plant Science Center, not only here as sponsor, but we'll also have some presenters. Pixel, Taylor Geospatial Institute, T. Carter, and I think that's the last slide. So thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to our sponsors. And then over to you.
Yeah. So now I have the great pleasure of introducing Chancellor Kristin Sobolik, who is really the visionary behind making this gathering happen here in St. Louis. Chancellor, come on down.
You know, thank you, Chris and Marie. And it is an exciting day to be here with our geospatial community, but also here in the University of Missouri St. Louis. So, welcome everybody to Geography 2050 STL, Feeding Our Future Planet. And welcome to the beautiful Blanche M. Hill Performing Arts Center, which is here on campus at the university. I am so pleased to have you here today as we explore the ways in which geospatial technology can help us address our current and future food needs for a growing, evolving, and changing planet. And I'm also so pleased to partner with the American Geographical Society on this inaugural event here in the Heartland. I attended, as Chris and Maria have indicated, I attended Geography 2050 Symposium in November back in New York City to see what it was all about. Well, to be fair, Brian Monheiser and Julie Murphy, who are both forces to be reckoned with, convinced me that this was my next big adventure. So it was so exciting to meet with the AGS team and to see the engagement of geography and geospatial techniques around a global issue. We wanted to bring this type of engagement back here to St. Louis and the Midwest. So here we are. So thank you, Brian and Julie. Thank you, John Konarski, Chris Tucker, and Marie Price of the AGS. It's so exciting to be here today. So to begin, do I push this next slide? Oh, so to begin, I guess I do. You didn't think I'd open with this, did you? So to begin, Carl Ortwin Sauer was born in Warrenton, Missouri, a little over 130 years ago in 1883, less than an hour west of where we sit today. He was a Missouri boy and is considered the founder of American cultural geography. 70 years ago, one of Sauer's greatest works, entitled Agricultural Origins and Dispersals, was published by the American Geographical Society. The classical view of agricultural development was humans progressing in stages from hunting and gathering to pastoral nomadism to sedentary agriculture as humans developed in the ways in which to increase the predictability of food in food-scarce situations. These theories have humans evolving from a nomadic lifestyle to one of sedentism or stationary living to be located around their agricultural crops. Sauer theorized differently from this. He stated that agriculture did not originate from food scarcity, but that domestication is found in areas where you have an abundance of diversity of plants and animals, such as wooded areas or where ecozones coalesce. Sauer identified the historical hearths, or fire pit remains, from around the world where different plants and animals were originally domesticated as baseline data for his theory. As an agricultural anthropologist myself, this book has loomed large in my own work and sits in a prominent place on my shelf at home. So you can say, in a way, I'm kind of an old school geographer from way back. If I were to guess, one of the factors that might have led Sauer to this work was living here in the heartland of America. Why do I say that? Perhaps because none of our modern-day modern crops actually originated here. I have published extensively on prehistoric diet, health, and nutrition here in the New World, and I know that wild plants were domesticated by native peoples on this continent thousands of years before contact, and include amaranth and quinoa and wild rice, with turkeys and dogs being the first North American continent domesticates. But the 5 biggest modern-day agricultural outputs, soy, corn, cattle, hogs, and chickens, here in the heartland are from China, central Mexico, South Asia, the Near East, and Southeast Asia. And our other major crops originated even further afield, like wheat from the Euphrates, oats from Asia Minor, cereal rye from Southwest Asia, rice from northern India, the potato from Peru. The long and the short of it is that over many generations of farmers, we here in the heartland have made a series of decisions about what crops and livestock we think work best for us. We have looked at our climate, our soils, the need for our families and our communities, and what we can sell competitively on the larger American and global markets. And in fact, we here in Missouri sell about $1.4 billion in soy internationally, annually. $351 million in corn, $291 million in feeds and grains, and $282 million in pork. And we have a changing world. We add 80 million plus people to the planet each year, the equivalent of 10 New York cities, or 1 Germany, or 13 Missouris, every year, all of whom need food. But we do not have more arable land to use. Climate change is magnifying droughts and famines in many parts of the world, placing more demand on those regions with sufficient water resources to make up for the lack of agricultural production. And man-made crises, such as the war in Ukraine, have created massive disruptions in the food global system. So many factors are challenging the global food system that the United Nations convened high-level special events on coordinating policy responses to the global food crisis last summer and fall. This is big stuff, folks, from St. Louis and Missouri and the entire world and back to the American heartland again. Our role in this rapidly changing global geography of food is central, and it is incumbent upon all of us to understand our role and the contributions we can make to this local, national, and global challenge through the power of geography and geospatial technologies. There is no better place to bring together thought leaders, researchers, optimists, pragmatists, and everybody else than right here in Missouri, the Heartland, the middle of America. We have a unique environment here filled with diverse ideas and diverse people. We have major medical facilities, higher educational institutions, both public and private, and companies and nonprofits, big and small. There is a state leader who agrees with me that Missouri is the ideal location to host a convention, a conversation about agriculture and feeding the world. Missouri's Lieutenant Governor, Mike Kehoe, is a leading advocate for Missouri's agricultural industry, and while his schedule would not allow him to be with us today, he has expressed his excitement about UMSL's plans to host Geography 2050 STL right here on campus. The Lieutenant Governor has provided a message to welcome everyone to Missouri, so please turn your attention to the screen.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. Welcome to Missouri and welcome to St. Louis for Geography 2050 STL. I hope you enjoy your time in America's heartland, where we are proud to feed, fuel, and clothe the world. Agriculture is the heart of our state's economy, and it's our state's top industry at $93.7 billion economic impact. Missouri is proud to be home to 95,000 farms, covering 2/3 of our state's total land acreage and supporting many of Missouri's top agricultural commodities, including soybeans, corn, cattle and calves, hogs, and turkeys. On average, Missouri farms are about 291 acres, and nearly all are family-owned and operated. In my role as Lieutenant Governor, I am proud to be involved in the agriculture industry through serving as the chair of the Missouri Food, Beverage, and Forest Products Manufacturing Task Force, where we work to grow Missouri's agriculture industry even further through value-added industries with our partners in higher education, commodity groups, and the Missouri Department of Agriculture. Our mission falls right in line with your conference in looking for ways to feed the world with Missouri agriculture. Personally, I am also a first-generation cattle farmer, so I'm very excited and proud that this conversation is happening right near where I grew up in North St. Louis City. Both rural and urban areas of Missouri play a large role in our state's ag industry. St. Louis is a key player in both the agriculture, with many leaders in plant sciences and ag innovation based out of the region, and the geospatial industry, with the NGA West project just east of where you are sitting. There's no better place suited to look at the intersection of geospatial technology and agriculture than St. Louis. Thank you to the American Geographic Society for partnering with UMSL for this important discussion. I hope you enjoy your time in our nation's heartland and St. Louis. God bless each and every one of you.
So we thank Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe for his support of this symposium and the University of Missouri St. Louis. St. Louis is indeed a Midwestern city unlike any other. We have a fantastic cultural scene, unlike that, within theater, opera, jazz, botanical gardens, history and science museums, the zoo, the 176-year-old Mercantile Library right here on the University of Missouri St. Louis campus, and Forest Park, our 1,300 square acre backyard, larger than New York City's Central Park. And an unparalleled sports scene with Cardinals baseball, Blues hockey, Battlehawks football, and City SC, the newest major league soccer expansion team, as well as NCAA D1, D2, and D3 college teams that make an exciting environment to have fun and compete. There's also phenomenal jazz, barbecue, toasted ravioli, ooey gooey butter cake, Emo's pizza, and apparently we are home of the vertically sliced bagel. But most importantly is that we have a plan, the 2030 Jobs Plan out of Greater St. Louis, Inc. The plan focuses on coalescing our assets to work together for inclusive economic growth of our region around some key sectors: biotechnology, advanced manufacturing, transportation and logistics, and strengthening our position as the global geospatial hub. With the expansion of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA West, now called NGA St. Louis, here in North St. Louis, we are focused on building out the collaborative infrastructure to support this important industry with the foundational inclusive growth mindset. Last week, we hosted the GeoInt Symposium downtown, the largest geospatially focused gathering in the world. GeoFutures, the geospatial arm of Greater St. Louis, Inc., has our plan mapped out. Our higher educational institutions are collaborating together and with industry partners to maximize our collective talents, knowledge, and know-how. The Taylor Geospatial Institute consists of 8 partners working together to build out the research know-how of our geospatial ecosystem. Centered at St. Louis University, UMSL is a partner. And our own UMSL Geospatial Collaborative is working with many partners to provide the important diverse workforce needed to fuel the expanding industry. Many of the companies that are sponsoring this symposium are also key partners, such as Esri, Planet, Pixel, the Danforth Plant and Science Center, Geo261, TCater USA, Greater St. Louis Inc., TGI, Youth Mappers, and the Globe Building. Today, we are here to discuss and showcase how geospatial technology can be used as a foundational tool to help address one of the most important issues we face today, feeding our future planet. And there is no better place to do that than right here in the Heartland and at the University of Missouri St. Louis. UMSL is the premier public research institution in the region with a focus on providing access and opportunity to a Tier 1 education and then delivering on that promise with high graduation rates that have placed us on U.S. News and World Report's list of top 100 universities in the nation for social mobility. With our diverse student population that reflects that of St. Louis, and with our high graduation rates, we produce the most diverse college-educated workforce in the state of Missouri and have the most alumni of any institution here in the St. Louis metro. As the geospatial industry focuses on growing the diverse talent pipeline, UMSL is a central player, a convener, a collaborator. We are proud of our role and so pleased to partner with the American Geographical Society, the oldest nationwide geographical society, on this inaugural symposium. As is indicated, I attended Geography 2050 Symposium that the AGS hosted in New York City at Columbia University this past November on the future of food, and frankly, I was hooked. Hooked by their vision to be the foremost champion of geography for the benefit of society. Hooked by the relevant topic which addresses a crucial global issue. And hooked by the passionate people focused on their mission. I am pleased that our conversations led this strategic partner into our St. Louis ecosystem as we focus on developing the geospatial pipeline and infrastructure for the region and nation. We all have a role to play, and I am excited to have this opportunity at our inaugural Geography 2050 STL event to build our knowledge base out, build our future workforce, and to help shape the future geography of food in a way that helps all of us make the world a better place. I think that Carl Ortwin Sauer would be pleased.